welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 261. I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the NoDQ Review, Aaron Rift, Jeff Meacham, TJS. I haven't said that in a while. Son Goshuku and JJ Williams is here. Gentlemen, what's going on? CM Punk is back in WWE. And I was one of the few that said it was going to happen at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. I felt pretty confident. I did not say, I don't think it's going to happen and make ridiculous bets. I just waited, and it happened earlier than I thought. I would have been all right with Royal Rumble. It was like number 27 or 28, 29, or 30, but we got him at the end of Survivor Series, and we will be talking about that. But first, what's going on, everybody? Son, I'll start with you if you want to do your little introduction. I don't know.
Hey, everybody, Son Goshuku here. Please excuse my voice, but I was live in attendance for Survivor Series last night. As you can believe, just like all the 17,000 plus, I went crazy for CM Punk. And you know what? I was neutral on the whole thing. This is why I say it pays to be neutral. I wasn't going to deny that he was coming in, but you always never say never. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit back and wait and see it happens. And oh man, what a moment when it happened. So I'll be giving you guys the live perspective of Survivor Series today. And good to be back with you all, gentlemen, in NoDQ Galaxy.
All right, it'll be a fun one. TJS, special occasion, you come on.
Oh, man. Guys, give me 1 sec.
One.
Uh-oh.
Two.
Uh-oh.
I was scared there for a second.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have bare chest. Okay.
It was just a little hot in here. Had to change into this, and I'm
I
also
thought it was going to be like a CM Punk shirt or something. Okay.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Great
Yeah,
society.
and I'm feeling kind of thirsty also, so I got this. But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, CM Punk is back. Man, you know, we'll get to it. But Virtue, I was with you. Like I was telling myself, it has to happen. You know, if they're gonna do it, it has to be in Chicago. If not now, when? So, like I said, we'll get into it. But oh man,
you know what, TJS? Listen, you know what pisses me off? Like it's a critique to myself. My hunch of how business works, right? I went to college, so I understand it. WWE did the merger with TKO, and yet I let these wrestling dirt sheets almost convince me that it won't happen. So well, that's what they say, and then I kind of backtrack a little bit, and I'm like, oh, it'll be at the Royal Rumble if it's not here. Give myself more time, and so like I'm kind of pissed at myself for letting them make myself doubt myself. I just had to say that.
Yeah,
that's why I don't buy into any of that stuff, and I'd rather have it come right from WWE. Even if WWE lies to you, they're telling you directly from them. That's part of the entertainment, maybe fine. I don't like getting it from a third source that claims they know the scoop. And I know Aaron makes his living off of it, great, but Aaron also reports stuff from multiple people. It's not, I'm kind of like always shady about a few of them, but man, I'm telling you, I should have never had any doubt here, TJS. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll get to it, but I'm feeling good, guys. I'm feeling good.
Okay, well, we'll be back to you, JJ.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Did you have a little
question going through the chat room? Is what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I called it from the moment that Punk walked out of All In with his belt over his shoulder and his one in the air. I was like, he is acknowledging the WWE. He's walking right back into Titan Towers.
Yeah.
And then on Simply Predicting yesterday, the prediction show that Noah hosts when he's not on the NoDQ Galaxy predictions, I told him, I was like, if WWE wants to troll Chicago, they'll have Punk come out to this, or they'll have Randy come out to This Fire Burns, since he used it that one time. Get the, oh shit, he's back pop, have it be Randy. And then as soon as the match is over, have Punk come out to Cult of Personality. They didn't do the troll, but as soon as the match was over, there he was. So it's like, not only did I call it, I called how they were going to bring him back.
Dude, I wonder what people that like didn't want him to come back or didn't think it would happen. And then Orton came out, and then the show was pretty much ending. they probably were at the highest of high, ready to go on social media.
Yep.
Boom! I wonder what they heard. Some of them might have already turned it off. I just wonder what some of those people thought when they heard the beginning of Cult of Personality.
Well, I know there's one particular combatant from Cleveland who wet himself, and we will just leave that there because he had to eat his words.
And we're going to discuss, obviously, Survivor Series and the return of CM Punk to sports entertainment.
Absolutely. The
But
one
JJ,
thing I feel bad about from last night is everyone's talking about Punk. People are talking about Orton. Nobody is mentioning R-Truth's return. Like R-Truth popping up in that backstage segment is just getting like lost in the shuffle. And I feel so bad for Ron Killings because he's such a cool dude and nobody is mentioning it.
Did you see the press conference where Triple H made a joke about that?
So
I'm getting it out here now. If it's the only mention of it on review episode 261, freaking R-Truth is back too. God damn it.
WWE kind of, they had a lot going last night doing all that stuff and red herrings galore. All right, Jeff, what's up?
Yeah, JJ mentioned the music at the very end. We were literally wrapping up the show with the watch along. Like Noah was saying, good night, on behalf of the Renegade and good old JM here. What the? And off we went to the races. It was booked exactly the way it should have been booked. I love the aftermath shenanigans. I'm sure we'll talk about all of that in the next hour. It's going to be a fun Sunday night leading into the last week of November across the multiverse of media for sure. I love it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Yeah, I got some things to say about that. All right, Aaron, what's up?
It's been a busy Sunday. Usually Sundays are pretty slow on NoDQ.com, but today, definitely one of the busiest days of the year and maybe several years. It was a lot of news out there. There was a lot of reports and a lot of people reacting to things, and it's an exciting time to be a fan. I think that I'm definitely looking forward to Raw, and I think a lot of people are, and people that haven't been watching wrestling in a long time will be checking out Raw just to see what's up. I've seen people say, I'm not really a CM Punk fan. I haven't really been a fan of WWE lately, but I think I'm going to check out Raw and see what's up. It's exciting. Coming up, we got Royal Rumble, but now what's going to happen with CM Punk? What's going to happen with Randy Orton? Where does WrestleMania end up going? What's going to happen here as we head into the new year? It's going to be fun to talk about it and see what everybody thought. And I agree with JJ about R-Truth. I mean, he's very entertaining. Glad to have him back. As long as there's no 24/7 title, I'm all for the return of R-Truth. And looking forward to tonight's panel, Virtue.
Virtue, one of your favorite phrases is needle mover. That needle is freaking pinging like an earthquake right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and like I've said before, he's probably the most polarizing guy in wrestling. But whether you like him or whether you hate him, people talk about him. And look at that reaction he got. How many wrestlers can get that kind of reaction? I mean, Orton got a big pop, but not at the level of CM Punk. Like, that guy makes a connection and gets an emotional reaction out of people in a way that far few others can do. And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. He said, "Great time to be the Living Color band. Money." Did you guys notice that was the new remastered version? And that came out a possible clue now in hindsight.
Yeah,
that was released like on the 24th on the Friday.
Yeah, it was released on Friday. Yeah. Tito had a great comment in your recap last night about this is a no lose scenario for WWE. They this is Punk's got to be on his best behavior now. WWE's got a great thing either way here. They don't have to give a shit. It's great.
And
well, I mean,
go ahead.
Well, Punk came back to a company that for the 8-9 years he was there, I don't think he really pissed people off. I mean, other than he got upset himself personally. Triple H said he might have been quirky to deal with and whatever, but like there was never those defining moments of he was a troublemaker in WWE. He just got mad and upset with his working conditions there
Mm.
and left. So we all said, hey, you walked out on a contract. Why not serve it out? That was the only real big problem during his WWE run. So this troublemaker thing, man, I don't think it follows him around, at least in WWE. I think that's another reason why they brought him back, because he served them 8-9 years and went against multiple top guys. But we're going to talk about that later. You said you had another super chat, Aaron?
Yeah, we do have a couple more here, so I'll get to those before we get started. The Cleaver Colin Andrews sent in a $2 super chat, says, so what do you guys want to talk about? Cheers. Well, Virtue, I think we're going to be talking mostly about Punk.
There's Marks in the chat. He got fired. Dude, he got fired because he walked out on his contract, you dipshit. If he stayed and worked the rest of his contract, had a match at WrestleMania, rumored against Triple H in 2014, he wouldn't have got fired, you dumbass. You're a Mark, right? You must be an AEW fan, but like,
they fired him. They fired him like 8 months after he stopped showing up for work.
That's so
that's what happens when you stop showing up to work. You get fired.
In AEW, he got fired. Okay, you can say that, but I mean, we're talking WWE now because that's where he's at. Gentlemen, are you ready to start?
Well, we got one more here from our good friend Walter Cruz. Actually, we got two more now. So, Walter Cruz said, "No need for negotiations when somebody is already signed. Stop kissing the dirt sheet reporters' asses and believe everything you read. We told you so." I mean, that is true, but at the same time, you have to keep in mind that reporters are just going with what they are told. And if WWE is going to tell them CM Punk's not coming back, well, that's the information they have. And anything can happen in WWE. That's what you have to keep in mind, whether you hear that, oh, somebody's coming back or somebody's not coming back. Nothing is 100%. It's wrestling. In wrestling, anything is possible. And you just have to wait and see what happens and never rule anything out. I mean,
I'll tell you this right now, Aaron. One particular reporter very much changed the way he typed out his tweets last night and this morning. Well, it could be this, but it's wrestling, so it could be at work. It's like, dude, if you just phrased your shit like that a year and a half ago, nobody would be on your case. Okay.
You know what? I have fun though. I have fun watching what we see on TV, guessing, educated guessing what's gonna happen, and whether I'm wrong sometimes, right sometimes, but like formulating that versus reading stuff. Oh, well, so-and-so said, and this is what's going to happen. It's more enjoyable because way back in the 90s, we would watch it and guess, oh man, Sid's coming back, just stuff like that. And now it's like we have too much information, but anyway.
Yeah. And Virtue, I will say this. I mean, I was skeptical of the initial reports that were saying WWE is not interested in bringing back CM Punk because they were throwing references out there on television. Yep. And you know what? The first one you could say, okay, that's a reach. People are just trying to make something out of nothing. But when there were multiple ones, like 3 or 4 references, and they're smart. Triple H is a smart guy. We talked about this too on the NoDQ review. We brought up the Bray Wyatt campaign when he came back and how they were doing these really cryptic teases because they know there are really intelligent fans and fans that remember things from 15 years ago, and they'll pick up on little cryptic references. And they did the same thing this year. So, when they say that CM Punk's return was like done this past week, like I find that hard to believe personally because they were throwing out references to CM Punk like the end of September, early October. And I think maybe they did not actually sign a contract or anything, but I think that this was in the works for a while, even when Punk was still in AEW, because keep in mind, he went to a WWE event earlier this year, back in the spring. He was there when he was still under contract to AEW. And to me, I interpreted that as maybe he's already trying to mend some fences, knowing that his time in AEW might be coming to an end. Like, as it turns out, it was coming to an end. But, there was uncertainty that he was even going to be brought back to AEW after what happened in 2022. Son?
Yeah, and I was gonna say that you just had to know something was up when they started doing the storyline throughout the show of will Randy show up? I'm like, why would you do that in Chicago when you know what everybody's gonna be thinking? You would just have Randy Orton come right out. And personally, I think Triple H worked it masterfully the way that he did this, just masterful.
Yeah, I just Jeff, and then I want to go on what Son said, but Jeff, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, I forget if I said this off air or on the air last night. I think however long the talks had actually been going on, you pointed out he went to the WWE show this year. I really think Punk really made the decision between the time he shoved Jack Perry over Tony Khan's lap and the time he walked back through the curtain, with the like JD mentioned, with the one in the air. He was done at that point for sure. But going to the WWE show, like going to whatever it was Raw earlier this year, he was definitely kind of testing the waters because he knew there was not going to be a popular environment or a safe work environment, if you will, when he returned to AEW. There was so much drama bullshit when he went back.
Yeah, and Son, I do wanted to bring this up. I really do think his return was perfectly executed because there were fans thinking he was going to come back, and then all the reports came out, no, he's not coming back. And then at Survivor Series, they did this angle with Randy Orton where it was teased he was not going to show up. And at that point, people were thinking, wait a minute, maybe he is coming back. And then Randy Orton shows up. The match is over. Everybody's celebrating. And then you're like, okay, yeah, show's over. Punk's not returning. And then they pull the whole end credits with the logo on the screen, and he shows up. Like, that was perfect. Like, think of it like a song. Like they hit every note in the perfect spot for that return. It was really brilliant. And I watched it back several times. Like, it was better than actually having him like in the match. I think just having him come out there at the very end, and then that reaction from Rollins, which I'm sure we'll be talking about here when we discuss this and the fallout from everything. Man, that is hot. Like, that's a WrestleMania Night 1 main event right there, if there is one.
Let me give you all the live perspective of what was going on throughout the show. I want to say about 90% of the people were chanting CM Punk. And you could hear about 10% of the people would try to draw him out with boos and everything. But when that music hits, woo, everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Experience a pop that loud, myself included. It sounded like everyone in the arena, they were done booing. Everybody was cheering. I was in the building for 2011 Money in the Bank. CM Punk got a huge pop when he won the title. This return there outdid it. Like, it is the biggest pop I've ever experienced in all the WWE shows I've done to. And I think I messaged this to you guys in the group chat and on Jeff's stream last night. After the I'm pulling another R-Truth. The War Games match with the men were done because they lingered on for several minutes. There were a good chunk of people in my section that were moving out, and then right when they had CM Punk's music hit, I'm like, oh, a lot of them people missed it. They just thought we go home and beat the traffic, and they missed Punk. I know they had to be kicking themselves in the feet when they were going downstairs. Like, is that Punk? Let me run back.
Yeah.
Have Marvel movies taught us nothing? Seriously.
Oh, Son,
I always stay to WWE shows until the announcer gets on and say, all right, we'll be coming back to Chicago in whatever so months. Have a good night. Then I know the show's on.
Right.
Yep. Son, yeah, I was just going to ask, Son, do you think, hypothetically, if Punk didn't show up, do you think the crowd would have been happy with the ending of the show, or do you think they would have been pissed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I cannot tell you before that. Randy Orton's pop, everybody was ready for Randy Orton. So, yeah, and that's what was advertised. So I think there was an expectation of that's how it was going to go. So I think fans would have been perfectly satisfied. But Punk was just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And that's what it really is. Like, WWE's doing great business. Do they need CM Punk? No, but he is truly that icing on the cake to add to an already stacked roster. And Son, how over was Jey Uso? Because the crowd was doing his routine with him, and he's on top of the cage there. Like, that was awesome.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
I have never experienced just 4 babyface entrances back to back. We were lit for the whole thing for like the whole 7-11 minutes, like singing all the songs with Sammy and Seth Rollins. And yeah, Jay jumped up on there and everybody was immediately just doing, down
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, got it lit. Jay Uso was severely over. I mean, like when he get in, everybody was saying yeet, yeet, yeet. Like it was good, and that's awesome. And I mentioned this. I've always been a huge supporter of make multiple stars. It is so much fun when you have 4 superstars that are that over. Because yeah, I understand WWE always has that one guy, but why can't we have multiple guys?
Right.
It's just so much fun.
It was like the Avengers, man. I swear, the 5 of them.
Absolutely. And I think
I was gonna say, while we're talking about reactions, I feel like Triple H, man, the heat that Dominic Mysterio got, there ain't nothing piping in there. As the countdown was going, they were, Dom, you suck. We got F you, Doms. Like just him running out, they were booing. Like, man, I have not heard that much heat in person. So what you hear on TV, that's the legit thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Virtue.
Yes.
I think you would agree with me on this. And going off of what Son was saying about all the baby faces being hot, I think that's a real testament to how well that bloodline storyline was. And those guys lost to Roman. Cody Rhodes lost to him. Sami Zayn lost to him. Jey Uso lost to him. But look how well they're doing. They're all mega stars. And even LA Knight, he lost to Roman Reigns. They're thriving. Even though they lost to Roman, they are thriving now.
And guess who's still out there through all of this? With Punk in the building, with Cody's chase of his story. Rollins is the world heavyweight champion. Roman Reigns is still the champion.
Yep.
And there's going to be confrontations. We don't know when. We don't know how. But there's possible. Now that they're all within the same 4 walls, anything can happen. Brock Lesnar's still there. We can get Brock to come back again. There is so many possibilities that WWE can hit a music when they need it to spice something up on TV.
I am down for a Brock Punk thing without Heyman. I'm down for that. Just to see how they would work together without Paul. That'd be cool.
Give me Punk and Cena again. I'd love to see it.
Keep reading the super chats, Aaron. I mean, really, this whole show, we were going to recap a little bit about anything non-Punk at Survivor Series, and then we were going to talk about Punk the rest of the time. We don't even have to follow that format. You could just, whatever about Survivor Series last night, we can talk about. We can just follow the NoDQ Galaxy's lead with the super chats as well.
I love it.
I mean, we're got a lot here, so we'll get to them, and a lot of these are related to Survivor Series, and that was what we were going to mainly talk about here is CM Punk at Survivor Series, and we'll get more of Son's thoughts on the show as we move along here. The Mr. Callum podcast sent in an $8 super chat. Thank you for that. Now he's from Australia, so time-wise, it might be a bit tricky to get Mr. Callum podcast on, but he would like to join a live stream at some point. Really loves the show. And he can't believe Punk is back. Now all we need is MJF. Well,
hey, we had MJF. We're good.
We did. And we love MJF, but man,
we do.
I'm bummed out we're not getting MJF versus CM Punk. But
I know.
It is
you know what, Aaron? He's bummed about that. He's pretty pissed at Phil, for being honest.
I would be upset because that was going to be
money,
the money match. That was the match for the world title. Twice it got screwed over. First,
Tony really screwed the pooch on that, and Max, justifiably is not happy about that.
And like Triple H said, people just talk about CM Punk, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Aaron's live stream after Survivor Series last night, he had a bunch of viewers, like more than normal. Tonight, this is one of our biggest, probably since episode 200, live viewers. CM Punk is bringing them in, at least with the internet, right? I mean, he might not be like what Roman Reigns or John Cena do to television ratings. He still obviously matters to a point because Dynamite and Collision have went down since he's left a little bit. But I'm telling you, and Aaron can attest to this. His living is his website, and CM Punk brings in the traffic. That's what he does. That's why he's back.
Same with us last night. We did it. We did a lot of traffic last night between the show and open mic night. We did really well last night.
Yeah.
CM Punk gets people talking. I just put out a tweet on Saturday, CM Punk, nothing else, just CM
Yep.
Punk's name.
Yep.
It got over 1,000 likes on Twitter/X. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean the return video is #1 on YouTube trending.
No, it's gonna
Already.
be for a while.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Now,
Like,
TJS, you know, and I don't, I try not to call other sites names out. Who's the one, the WrestleNomics? I always see them like when somebody's in AEW, like Edge, the next day, and the guy that runs that site always says, "Hey, Edge's YouTube videos got this." I sure hope they're doing it for Punk, because this is, what'd you say it had? Almost 20 million already?
25, isn't it?
25
million?
and counting. Like, so,
Something,
like,
yeah.
don't be AEW biased. Let's spread, like, report this, put it out there, say Punk's making a difference.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
That's all I want, an even playing field. Everybody
Well-
gets talked about the same.
well, remember
Well,
they
we-
reported they reported that CM Punk got turned down by WWE. Remember?
Wow.
Wow.
Again.
Triple H
Well,
did a
you know what?
masterful job.
There's the thing. There's so many different things we got to pick apart here during the show. Like at the end of Survivor Series, some other wrestlers' reactions. What I think we don't need to do at this point, though, is go back and say, well, the fact is he is in WWE right now, right? He's in it. So the rumors that tried to sway us away, or it's official. He's there. That's what we need to talk about now. Like, we don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He is
Mm.
officially back in WWE. I did my I told you so's on Twitter. We don't need to go into that
Yes.
because there's so many things about this to talk about, how it affects some of the top talent, right? Some of these reactions we're getting, which I believe are kayfabe. And we got to talk about his plain white t-shirt too that he walked out. There's some significance to that as well. Go ahead, Aaron. What next on the super chats?
Well, I think JJ had a comment he wanted to make.
It's okay. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Oh, well, that happens to me all the time.
Type
so.
always, hey, do private chat. Type it there, because then if you forget, it's in there.
That's what Walter does. He's always
Yes.
private
Yeah,
chatting.
that's why
That's why he does it.
Yeah, thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. We might have some newcomers tonight, and I hope you're enjoying the live stream. If you do, please consider giving it a thumbs up and maybe even subscribing. We're here every week, every Sunday night, unless there's a holiday or some shenanigans going on. But
Or a
usually
house
we're
show.
here. House show, and then you get sick from the house show. But you know,
Mhm.
I had to give it in there just once. I'm good.
that's
I'm
how
good.
life goes. You know, gotta take the chances, and sometimes things happen.
Yes.
Hep Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Says, if Triple H and CM Punk don't do a face-to-face promo on Monday, then what are we even doing here? Well, I disagree with that. Does anybody want to see Triple H and CM
Nope.
Punk?
No,
Nope. Not yet.
Wants to get that serious with promos now, other than just to come out and make an announcement, because he can't take the bumps anymore. So I don't think he wants to tease something that he can't deliver. Like, look at when him and Gunther had that face off, and then he just played it up for laughs. So yeah,
They did the social media picture, and that's enough for me.
I agree. I don't think we need that. JJ?
What I would like to do is, since Punk is basically coming in being a free agent, I'd like to see him hit up all the shows this week, because we definitely want to see a Paul Heyman CM Punk interaction. Even if all they do is walk past each other
Yeah.
backstage and like give each other a look like, you're here?
Mm.
Who are you with now?
It'll be interesting, JJ. Like, I expect him on Raw. It will be interesting if they put him on SmackDown at all. I think they might not. They don't want to give that to Fox. We're going to talk. Like, I think Fox is one of the reasons why CM Punk is back in WWE, because I think they pissed Nick Khan off.
Well, good.
Even
They
if
should have.
you put him on
They should have been pissed at their bullshit.
Even if they do put him on SmackDown, he's only there until the end of next year when they move to USA anyways.
That's true.
Well, speaking of that, which brand is CM Punk going to be on? Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat and says, which brand do you see CM Punk and Randy Orton being on? I did bring this up during the Survivor Series recap. I felt like maybe Orton stays on Raw, maybe CM Punk is on Raw, maybe he's on SmackDown to potentially have a match with Roman Reigns at some point. Maybe he's on Raw to feud with Seth Rollins. Virtue, any opinion on that as far as which brands they're going to be on?
Well, I'm expecting Punk on Raw. Orton, I don't
They're
know.
both going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. Because was Orton technically drafted or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was.
Yeah. Raw's 3 hours, so I'm expecting everyone on Raw. And if anybody ends up on SmackDown, they end up on SmackDown. I don't think they're going to go out of their way for SmackDown right now because it's on Fox and they just want to get to the next deal with USA.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to tank SmackDown completely, but I think they want to try to build Raw back up because remember, Raw's still out for bid, right?
Yep.
They need a new deal for Raw, so they should stack Raw up.
Yeah, get the numbers up, as much as they can right now.
Yep.
Now, this I guess everybody could talk about this one. This could be like a main topic here in itself because on the end of the Survivor Series show, at the very end, off camera, Seth Rollins was very upset. He was flipping off CM Punk. He was saying "F you," and we've heard all of the things that Seth Rollins has said over the past year or so.
Yeah.
At the start of the year, he called CM Punk a cancer, told him to stay away. Now, Darren G sent in a $10 super chat. He says, "Can you believe there's people who think the Seth Rollins and CM Punk stuff is legit? It's clearly a work. Also, awesome panel, missed open mic night due to family obligations, but just like CM Punk, Darren G is back." So
we always tell everybody priority over passion, folks. So we're glad you did your family stuff, Darren. Good to have you here.
I guess I could be in the role of Virtue right now and just get everyone's thoughts on Seth Rollins and CM Punk, that angle, and what you think is going to happen next. Son, you were there live. Like, did you pick up on anything that happened here? Like, did the crowd notice anything?
I didn't see any of that part because where I was sitting, it was some good seats, but we were just looking all at the entranceway and everybody was chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. So I had to see that on social media. Yeah, the way Seth Rollins reacted, that's how, when you have just some sort of hatred and disdain for somebody, just man, I don't believe that it's that bad. I believe that Seth Rollins is a complete professional, and I believe that CM Punk will be a complete professional because let's be honest, I don't see things getting out of hand like we heard from all the reports with AEW, and this Tony Khan basically had to confirm on TV to us because WWE is always good at making sure they nip things in the bud. So if things get out of control, they're going to take care of it like that. So ultimately, I see CM Punk and Seth Rollins, even if they dislike each other, they're going to be professionals and work together. So I think he's basically just playing on up with it and everything. Maybe he didn't know, but he's like, okay, hey, this is how we can make some money. So let me just get all super angry and everything. So yeah, I think regardless of whatever happens, both men are going to be professional and make some money for us to entertain us, the fans.
Muted.
You're muted. Can't hear you.
Whoops.
You can hear me now, right? Yeah. No, right, there we go.
TJS, did you think that segment was a work?
Well, Aaron, I mentioned to you that I needed to use an F-bomb. So do I have your permission, or do I need to?
I guess you get your one.
Okay.
You get your one for the
All right.
evening.
I'm consulting my notes. Aaron, do you remember the episode of South Park where Butters is the pimp and he says, "Don't you want to make some real fucking money, bitch?" I think that's what's going on here. Punk wants to make the money. Everybody wants to make the money. So that's why he came in. And like you said, Son, these are professionals. And I think it's a work. I think that Punk is going to come in, make his money, and like you said, in WWE, they don't deal with this crap. Like, Hangman went off script that time in AEW. WWE's not going to allow their talent to go out there and shoot. And they're damn sure not going to allow backstage fights. Like, it's just not going to happen. You've got locker room leaders back there that are going to put people in their, in line and just keep things orderly. So yeah, 100%. I think this is a work, and I like it because because Rollins did do his little interview, and I think if he actually didn't like Punk, he would have just not commented on it. He wouldn't have done the interview. I think the seeds are planted, and
plus TJS, didn't Rollins wasn't he involved with some of the Punk cryptics back the last couple months?
Oh yeah.
So come on, man.
And there's rumors that this will be the Rumble match, but if it was the Mania match, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, I talked about this a couple weeks ago.
At two, do we really think? Because I was seeing in the video how everybody was holding Seth Rollins back. Do we really think Seth Rollins was going to just run all the way at the ramp and try to beat up CM Punk without it being agreed to in front of all the people? Like, yeah,
The world champion is going to come up, charge the mound and beat up the hometown hero.
Yeah.
The best storylines are the ones where they take real life and they make it part of the fiction. And there's a whole story here with Seth Rollins. Like, he called CM Punk a cancer. It was a viral video clip. Jeff?
The problem with that viral clip of him calling Punk a cancer is, didn't Rollins do Logan Paul's show fairly recently and tell everybody that he and Punk made nice?
We're not supposed to know that.
We're not supposed to remember that. That's right.
Remember?
This kind of shit that pisses Virtue off about the kayfabe being broken so often. I totally get where he's coming from. It's like, man, just let it be real for a little while longer.
Yeah,
but even with that knowledge,
but
we know there's what's that?
I was just like, in general, they should try and capitalize on Punk's real life drama and use it to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're doing with this Rollins thing, because they know that at least half of the dirt sheet audience, like the Josh Manfields, are going to bite on this. Oh, Seth Rollins is really pissed. So,
rightfully so. And then the others are like, oh, he's a crybaby. Get over it.
Aaron, so obviously I don't need to reiterate that this is a work. Rollins is setting up business for the future, clear as day. We have enough evidence that Rollins has participated in saying things about Punk on camera. That's all done for a reason. The Drew McIntyre thing, didn't he storm off before Punk came out? Didn't he storm off when his team lost? He teamed up with the Judgment Day, who lost. So Drew is selling to the crowds that have cell phones that can take photos and video, to further that angle with wherever he's at with the Judgment Day, and they lost. And then the whole reports, went to the locker room and left and stuff like that. Drew McIntyre's working everybody for whatever angle he's going to be in.
Exactly.
I don't know with Punk. Because it could happen with him. These guys know what they're doing. WWE has right management agents, and now it's not just the wrestling bubble of WWE, but they're looked upon by a broader scope that covers UFC, TKO. These guys aren't going to jeopardize their income from their contracts from WWE by getting salty. It's just not going to happen. Yes, it's happened in the past. Punk left. Stone Cold left. Well, what happens when they're unhappy? They leave. They go. They just leave. Hey, I'm not even going to give you my services. They don't ruin it on camera or backstage and ruin everything like it happens in AEW. It just doesn't happen that way. WWE is too professional. Maybe there's too much respect for Vince McMahon. Again, there's been some backstage scuffles here and there, but again, it's different. It's not the same as what happened in AEW.
Every single person that has left has come back, not only come back, but they've apologized or did exactly what they said they weren't going to do when they left. Look at what happened with Sable. Look at what happened with freaking Brett. I'll never let them turn Montreal into a story. Hello, WrestleMania 2010. I call bullshit, Brett. Sorry.
We hear that Vince McMahon, this is a Triple H, Nick Khan thing, and nobody really else knew. Let me tell you something. Okay, somewhere Vince McMahon was briefed on this. Okay, he's might be in that position now where it doesn't really matter. Ari Emanuel was briefed on this. The higher ups knew this was coming. Okay, just so you know, Vince McMahon did apologize on the Stone Cold podcast about giving CM Punk a pink slip on his wedding day. Right then and there, Vince McMahon said one day in his mind we could do business again. Now, yes, it wasn't at the point where this was a Vince decision because of where we are with TKO, and it's really the Triple H Nick Khan show. But let all those people that needed to know definitely knew, and here we are. CM Punk is back in WWE. I mean, this is a reality, people.
I had a question about
not guessing. It's the truth.
the Drew McIntyre thing, because I don't know if this was on camera because I haven't watched back the show yet on Peacock. The Judgment Day after Drew stormed off, they stayed in the ring and were all embracing before they ended up exiting. So Drew was never going to be buddy with them. He was only in there to get Jey Uso, so it would make sense. Okay, I didn't get what I want. I'm going to storm off, and then the Judgment Day they're the ones that are like the tight knit family, and they're going to embrace. So that would make sense. So yeah, I was wondering, like, isn't he just selling the story that he was telling it with the Judgment Day?
Yeah. I mean, it makes for good drama though, and it definitely helps the story when it's reported all over the place that Drew McIntyre stormed out. It makes for a good story.
After pay to work.
Look, hey, all I'm gonna say is CM Punk brought Mo Camera back. We haven't seen him for weeks.
Oh yeah,
weeks, and now he's back.
Like
he's
Roman
back
Reigns.
chatting it up, mentioning Roman's name. He can't help himself.
Yep.
All right. We got some more super chats here. JJ, anything you wanted to add about Seth Rollins and that whole angle?
Not really. Everyone pretty much said what I was thinking, so it's all good.
All right. We got a $5 super chat from Gomer Kyle says, did Punk get injured in his last match? Is he cleared to wrestle? Great time to be a wrestling fan. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. I don't believe he got injured in the Samoa Joe match. I think
just probably bumps and bruises. He's fine now a couple months later.
Yeah, I think he's good to go. And it's just a question of how many matches does he do at this point? There was a comment that how do you utilize him if he starts beating top guys? They should be getting elevated and not losing to CM Punk, who's like in his mid 40s. But at the same time, you want to try to build CM Punk up and make the most out of his star power. So we'll see what they do with that. And maybe he's going to be like a Brock Lesnar where he only shows up for the big matches. Now, Walter sent in a $2 super chat, says, we need the face-to-face Punk and Rollins, not Triple H. I agree. And that's what I'm expecting personally at this point. I would think that Seth Rollins would show up and confront CM Punk on Raw. TJS?
Well, I was just going to say, we know what's going to happen. Punk will open Raw, and then the Judgment Day interrupts.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't think they need to do that, but, they may end up doing that. So we'll see about that. And Michael sent in a $2 super chat. He says, your tribal chief about to start coming to Raw. I mean, son, go ahead.
You know what? I might be in the minority here with this one because people might think this ship has sailed, but you know what? He wrestled after 19 years. My all-time favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
He showed he can still go to an acceptable degree, and we got CM Punk. I have longed for Stone Cold versus CM Punk, and I don't think it might be too late to happen. So I'm like, wow, there might be a realistic possibility. That's probably the one match that would get me ready to go to WrestleMania 40.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes.
Now we got a super chat here from Teaching in Color X. I guess we got to talk about AEW a little bit here tonight. Virtue's like, no, our numbers are good tonight.
But go ahead.
Says, is AEW over? Also, how can you legally place bets on wrestling? It's predetermined. How does that work? I think it's in the UK where a lot of those betting sites are based, and their laws are different. I'm not really sure how that all works. I've never bet on wrestling, never plan on doing it.
Here's what's going to happen. This is one reason why I think we're seeing how Seth Rollins is reacting. WWE is going to show Tony Khan and AEW how you can take controversy and make money off of it. Something that they failed to do because of the Elite. We know the Elite's theme song is Carry On Wayward Son. So every time we hear the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega come out, we hear those lyrics. I'm looking at my phone here. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. But the very next few lines after that, once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion, I was soaring even higher. That is CM Punk. The Elite, you are idiots for picking that song to think you were taking a shot at CM Punk, because now the very next lines after that in that song are the glory of CM Punk's return to the world wrestling entertainment. And I'm telling you, AEW is not in trouble. They got their diehard fan base. They're going to always pull. I mean, in terms of filling big arenas, they're in trouble, but they can go to Wembley every year and still do well. Their pay-per-views are still like, they're still going to, you know, they bring Edge in. They're still going to be there. But I mean, if Tony Khan had dreams of passing WWE, you got to do it as long as Vince McMahon did it, and go through good times and bad times and bounce back. And you just, that is never going to happen in my lifetime. But I'm not going to shade AEW too much. They're always going to be the good little second number 2. But it's the EVP. There's just so much there that needs fixed, and it's showing. It's showing. WWE went and CM Punk reunited, and Tony Khan couldn't make it work with him.
It's been showing since Brawl Out.
They're going to counter with Goldberg. That's what they're going to do.
Oh, barf. Oh my God.
No, they're not.
Hey,
I think is a safe bet to say probably not. Just because
I'm not betting on.
Remember, you just have to, when you're wondering, is Tony Khan going to sign somebody, you have to ask yourself this question: is this guy an internet darling? And if the answer is no, they're probably.
Dude, we brought all the AEW haters in the chat. This is WWE tribalism at its finest. You coming in here saying that is AEW tribalism at its finest. Thank you for watching. All right.
Yeah, Jesus.
Son, you got something to say?
Yeah, while we're on the subject of AEW, I got to give a huge shout out to Timeless Tony Storm. I am extremely impressed of just how well she does the sports entertainment aspect. And I'm like, man, if this was in WWE, I was like, how did they ended up what? Because they made Tony Storm. Yeah, they were doing the Three Stooges slapstick stuff with her. Yeah, her and Charlotte. But I was like, man, had they just played their cards right with Tony Storm, and she did this type of character in WWE's production level, man, I was like, who knew she had that sports entertainment aspect in her? So I think she's doing a fantastic job, and I'm glad to see AEW doing more stuff like that with more characters, because it stands out. And hey, Tony Khan, he's shown that he'll strike the iron when it's hot, as I know you like to say, Aaron. So you put the title right back on her and everything. So props to him on that. Yeah,
absolutely. I enjoy her stuff. And by the way, Steve-O brought up how Jeff Jarrett wasn't an internet darling. He was like the one exception, and that's why I was most surprised that Jeff Jarrett came in, because I was not expecting that.
Well, to be fair,
but they're using him a lot behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
It's not just on
camera. Shout out to Steve-O. He was there live in attendance last night for Survivor Series as well.
But you know what? He wasn't there for Jeff Jarrett's debut like Big G. So
that's right.
Jarrett is an internet darling. Big G loves him.
Oh God, you guys are gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah. Anyways, we got some more super chats here. So thank you to everybody for participating in the chat room. We love you guys. And, we enjoy talking with you about wrestling. Now, Mr. Tito sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tito. And check out his column about CM Punk, which is up on the site now. He says, AEW could be in trouble. What if Warner Brothers Discovery suddenly buys Raw? Jeff, what do you think is the possibility here?
I see. Would that be a conflict of interest on WB's behalf, or could they get away with that? I mean, if they have a long-term contract with AEW, could they do that?
Well, AEW's contract is up next year.
No, well, you know what? Stranger shit has happened. Why not?
I think if they don't renew AEW, they're just done with wrestling. I mean, just because, like, look at the whole Warner Brothers Discovery right now. They can movies that were filmed and they're done. They just bury them in a vault. Like, they just wash their hands of stuff.
But just think about that for a second. If Warner Brothers Discovery makes the bid and gets Raw, we could have Monday Night Raw on TBS or TNT.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be never, right? That would be the show. That'd
be the ultimate not on my damn bingo card in my lifetime, let alone in this year. Holy shit. JJ's got his hand up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you, Jay.
We do need new bold predictions now that Punk's back, though.
Right.
I mean, that's why someone threw out Goldberg to AEW. Like, we always need to have something.
I mean, it's true. They did bring in a few guys like Big Show, who's not an internet favorite. So there were a few.
I love Big Show.
I like Paul just fine.
Yeah.
I like them too, but you know what I'm talking about, the work
Full-time
rate
legend.
guys,
Oh.
the spot monkeys, the guys
Oh,
that can have those 5-star matches. Those are the guys Tony Khan typically likes to sign.
those guys that have matches that are starred by one person whose opinion means absolute jack shit. Anyway,
We keep talking about them.
Plans may change.
And you know what I want with CM Punk here? Like when he starts showing up on TV and cutting promos, and I don't know what we're going to get yet, but I don't want the shots at AEW, the EVPs,
No.
the Young Bucks. I want him to pick up where he left off from 2014. Now, granted, some of those people aren't regular anymore, like Batista's gone, Cena's gone, but I kind of want him to pick up there, right?
Ooh.
And speak to the WWE Universe and just not worry about, hey, and take those shots. I don't think there's any need to. You know, build
Right.
something with Rollins, build something with Roman, maybe. That's what I want to see with Punk.
Right.
Or Cody.
Hey, we might finally be getting to a time where we can look at CM Punk's pipe bomb and be like, it's finally outdated, because it has aged very well over the last decade, but it feels like things have gotten a lot better. And I say that in all due respect, as good of a promo as it was, I wanted us to be able to look back years or a decade after that and be like, man, we got changed.
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
JJ and I were there for that pipe bomb promo, and the two things that stand out right now are most important to me. Number one, Aaron calling me, going, "What the hell is going on up there?" Because the site crashed. And Punk, one of the quotes he said is, "I'd like to think the company would get better after Vince McMahon dies," which, you know, him leaving the company is pretty much like him dying, but it's going to be taken over by his idiot daughter and his doofus son-in-law. Can we all agree that WWE, as you know, at least business-wise, has improved in the last decade?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Creative
And
is struggle.
Punk always wanted to be a martyr. He left, walked out on his contract. Daniel Bryan. It was the rise of Daniel Bryan after that.
Yeah.
Like it ended up happening to some degree. We can even pick some other champions like along the way that maybe we would have never expected to be up there. But like Daniel Bryan's the main point here. Punk can't, I mean, it worked. If he wanted to see new people, it worked to a degree.
Virtue, I think two of Punk's best friends in the business would not have risen to that level without Punk's departure. Bryan and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, Kofi did too.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, Jeff. Like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, I think those two guys, their success is what led to guys like Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens all getting opportunities in WWE, and in an era, a different era, they would not have made it. Like in that era, it was the right time, and the success of Punk and Bryan led to those other guys.
No, I 100% agree with that.
So I just wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say that I'm jealous, Jeff, that you got to be there for the pipe bomb, and son, you were there for Money in the Bank. You were there for Survivor Series with Punk's return. Last time I saw CM Punk in person, he was getting beat in a 2-minute UFC fight. So
yeah.
I did get to see CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar. So
yes.
And CM Punk versus The Rock. So I got to see a couple big Punk moments.
You know what? It's funny, Aaron. You know, we were talking about the pop that Punk got last night.
Last year too.
You and I were there at the arena that was Staples Center back then. I still call it Staples Center when I can. When Stone Cold returned off camera, that roar I heard when Punk's music hit at the very end of last night. I went back and watched it because I had my TV on mute. We were doing our watch along. You could hear, it wasn't a cheer, it was an actual roar. You could hear a roar just rise up in that arena. Some was there, you know, he said he was part of it.
That's exactly what it sounded like, a big, long, sustained roar.
It did. It was a guttural, like from your gut roar with 17,000 people. It was, I've never heard anything that loud on television at all. It was the damnedest thing I've ever heard as far as on TV. I think if I was there, I'd probably go, you know what? It beat the Staples Center pop for Austin because it was just so visceral. JJ, you were at the pond when Rock was introduced as the guest host of Mania. You heard the pop for Punk last night on TV. Is that comparable?
Probably. I had my volume turned down like you, so we didn't get copyright pinged, so I didn't hear it all. I just had it audible enough that I heard the static start and knew what it was before Noah did.
Right. Oh, I mean, going back and watch it like I did today. I don't know if you would come back and watch it yet
I
today or
didn't go
not.
back
But
and watch it again.
I can't stop watching it. I've watched it at least like 5 times today, man. Like it's crazy, man. Like I don't know. I keep looking at WWE.com and I'm in disbelief because in my 25 years, the 3 things that I've just been in legitimate shock about: Trump winning in 2016, Bray Wyatt dying, and then CM Punk returning in 2023. Those are by far the most shocking moments of my life, man. Like, it's crazy.
So this was obviously more shocking than Punk returning to wrestling via AEW.
Yeah, I would say that this return blows that one out of the water, man. Like, because we expected Punk to return in, what was it, 2021. Here everyone was like, well, not everyone, but a lot of people, majority was like, it may happen, but we doubt it. And
I think he was more comfortable. Like, it's a two-way street, but let's talk about the Punk side of things for a minute. It's not just WWE anymore. It's TKO. It's part, the company that owns UFC. Yes, he got his butt kicked twice, but I mean, he made a couple $1 million working for UFC. UFC made money because of him getting his ass kicked. There were, it's weird saying that, but he was playing a fighter on TV, not playing, but he was a fighter on pay-per-view with a gate, making money for a company. There's a comfort level there. I'm sure UFC wished he would have been competitive so he could have kept going longer. Well, it didn't work out there, but hey, guess what? Now that you can do the sports entertainment thing for us, because that's what you do. And I just think there was a comfort level more than back with when he left WWE, and it's just a different regime. Yeah, Triple H is in charge of talent, but there's this new guy, Nick Khan. There's the leaders of TKO that aren't WWE. I think Punk just felt comfortable, like, let's do this. This is different than when I left.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
JJ pointed that out during a mic night last night. I definitely want to get his out here to the NoDQ Galaxy as well, because I know a lot of guys weren't watching both shows, because I know Aaron did his recap last night. JJ, you were pointing out, I think, to me last night about that, the synergy that there's the two things are not unrelated.
Which 2 things?
The sale, TKO, taking control away from the McMahons pretty much, and then Punk returning.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the 2 of them are connected, because at the end of the day, it's a different company that Punk is coming back to. It's not a Vince McMahon company anymore.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, his biggest issue was dealing with Vince.
Yeah, exactly.
On the press conference, I don't know if you guys saw the full thing, but Triple H did say that there was 0 push from TKO. I don't know if that's true, but he did say that TKO wasn't pushing for it, and he said that a lot of top executives there were surprised. They were sitting at home watching and probably were surprised. But
that's a good story to tell, though. I mean, that's a good story to tell.
Yeah.
To make the position of the WWE part of TKO still look like, hey, we run this. I mean, whether it's true or not true, that's what should have been said anyway, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no, like you said, there's no way Vince and Ari were not, in the loop. There's no way.
Well, JJ has always, and I, but we've always talked about when I got hooked up with his channel, when we started the channel, a decade ago, we both talked about branching out. CM Punk doesn't have to be a WWE superstar with the merged company, Jay.
It's true.
He could be an analyst on the UFC.
That's true.
There's just all kinds of company synergy is what's going to dictate how it goes with Punk in round 2 or whatever the hell it is, round 3 with WWE now. Just there's more possibilities than there were a decade ago. When Punk walked out, he was frustrated, he was beat up, he was tired, he was definitely injured. He was not working hurt, he was injured. He needed to take time away, and he couldn't get it. And now he has the opportunity. And by the way, I love the comment you left about the Z-Pack last night. That was funnier than shit, Virtue. I fought for that so hard.
Talk about that stuff, but like he probably has a contract now, limited dates. Right?
Yeah,
and he's making more money probably than he did on his last contract with WWE, and in limited dates. So I'm not saying he's going to have a Roman schedule, Brock schedule, but maybe. But like that's a thing.
I think at this stage of his career, he's an attraction.
I think he's comfortable. Like, we never thought he wanted to come back more, I think, than if WWE would bring him back, because WWE's always had a history of bringing back anybody to do business. Punk obviously decided to come back because we're talking about it. It happened.
I agree.
We got a lot more super chats here, so I
Keep
guess
rolling.
we'll get to those. We did mention Big Show earlier. Is he an internet darling? That was
No.
Michael's question,
No.
and thank you, Michael. I would say no, but I've always liked the Big Show, and I've always been entertained by him. So
Can't believe he took that car bump. Oh my god.
that was brutal. That was.
I still stand to Big Show, one of the greatest athletic big men in the history of professional
Oh
wrestling.
yeah.
Yeah. If
And
anything, he
very
doesn't get
gifted
enough
when it
love.
came to the character work as well. Big Show could do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. Tito about Triple H, he sent in $5. Thank you, Tito. Says, great to see Triple H maturing as a leader, both in creative and managing talent since returning last year. Punk accused Triple H of steroids in 2014 too.
I mean, Triple H obviously has kids. When you get older, you change. But he had the health scare too, so all like that. As bad as that was, that might have been good for him, just changing and being a better leader going forward and appreciating where he is, what he does. So
Triple H
hopefully
doesn't.
he's healthy. Hopefully everything's good with the ticker. But
We've seen too. Triple H, he doesn't hold grudges. Look at all the people that they said stuff about him, and hey, he brought him back. He understands, hey, business and everything like that. And what you brought up, Virtue, there, and I think that's why, I don't know if they've ever confirmed it, but I believe that's why him and Scott Steiner were able to bury the hatchet, because both of them had health scares around the same time that could have killed them. And I think maybe they looked at like, you know what? Look at what we did in this great business of wrestling. It's not worth it in life holding on all this hate and grudge. And there we go. Scott Steiner is in the Hall of Fame, and there him and Triple H and Vince were, after all the stuff he said for years. So I think Triple H, he's older, wiser, and you just start really appreciating, especially at his age and what he's gone through, what life is really about. And I'll be honest, just being there Survivor Series and seeing all the people have a good time, the fans, man, it just shows you how wrestling has an emotional positive effect on people. This stuff brings families, friends together, and we have a great time while they're entertaining us, and they make a lot of money from doing it. So like I said, it's win-win when wrestling's going good, and that's the most important aspect, I think, of everything professional wrestling.
Thank you for that, son. Well said. And Dr. Bropio, I didn't miss your super chat. I have a backup here, so we're getting to all of them.
Yep.
Punk's first words will be, "I'm back, cry me a river." And I did want to add this other super chat since it's a similar topic here. So thank you for that, Dr. Bropio. And Mr. Anderson sent in $2. It said, can't wait for CM Punk's promo about AEW on Raw. So I guess we could predict now, what is he going to say on Raw? Do you guys think he's actually going to make a reference to AEW? Virtue, do you think that's even necessary?
How often have we got, I remember Sami Zayn, how often have we got AEW references on WWE TV?
I think that's it.
Like,
Very rare. Very rare.
So because of that, it could happen if WWE's like, man, this is what you do. But I think they should. I don't think, I'm 50-50, 60-40 that it won't happen. But, because it's Punk, I'm not going to rule it out. So if it happens, I'm sitting there like, oh, but I don't want it to happen. I want him to start business with Seth, with whatever.
Right.
And go back to whatever 2014. Hey, by the way, that little thing called the Shield, that was me. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want AEW.
I agree. I don't think it's necessary. I think they should just focus on him being back and what his goals are moving forward. And speaking of moving forward with possible CM Punk matches, Jeff?
Can we go around the room and ask everybody?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure, you got something you want to add?
Well, no. I just want to make sure everybody gets their say. We haven't heard a lot from everybody about everything. It's been me, and I've been dominating. I'm guilty of it, but I wanted to make sure he gets all around the room to everything. So,
well,
TJS, anything you want to add?
Always raise your hand.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, just real quick. In 2014, was that before the Authority was a thing? I believe Rollins was champ in 15, right? Or was it 16?
The Authority was formed after SummerSlam 2013 with Bryan.
Okay, so if you guys remember, I believe Kane chokeslammed Punk through the announce table at Royal
Correct.
Rumble. So we can get Kane versus Punk as his first match back.
Oh God.
Oh God! Please keep it off television. No.
You wanted TJS to talk, and he says that. So,
But in
good
all
job,
seriousness,
Jeff.
all
I wanted everybody to talk, not just Tyler. But anyway, it's okay.
in all seriousness, I agree. I don't think that Punk should bring up AEW. I think he should just come in there and just not even acknowledge the time in AEW. I don't think it's needed. And yeah, I mean, I think he has to just address Rollins. He has to come out there and say, one guy in particular wasn't too happy about me coming back, and it's the world champion. And I think that's what you got to do.
JJ, what do you think?
I don't think that he has to directly reference AEW, but I think it would be good if he went back to, it was either the first or second promo he cut in AEW, where he was going off on Eddie Kingston, talking about him being like the third best Eddie and the second best Kingston that he's ever been in the ring with. And I think it would be kind of cool to see him kind of play back to that and, maybe talk about working for a guy named Khan that's not a fanboy and a mark or something.
There you go.
Just take a subtle jab like that, or last time I was around a guy with the initials MJF that had talent, it was Michael J. Fox. Just little things like that I think would be great to kind of play back on that promo without saying them by name.
Yeah.
And the people that know, you know what I mean? It's just like, but I agree, like, you don't really need him to cut that vicious pipe bomb anti-AEW promo. It just isn't going to go anywhere.
Should he bring the red bag out, JJ?
I would.
Maybe that. Maybe he doesn't say a word about him, but he has that, and he just holds it up.
Drops it in the trash can.
There you go.
Anybody else on this before Aaron goes to the next?
Aaron's muted.
Again,
I'm pulling a Jeff here. Sorry, Jeff.
I
was going to say that he could just be walking to the arena or walking into the gorilla position. He could be holding that red bag. This is just a little Easter egg. He's holding that red bag. He just casually just drops it in the trash as he's walking out to the arena.
That would be so good.
The casual fans would have no idea what it's a reference to, and the hardcore fans that know would get a kick out of it. And it would just be very quick and subtle, and that's it.
And then Tony Khan.
You guys think that would make Tony Khan go on social media and start ranting about it? Because I know he can certainly rant on social media.
He will cry on X.
Man,
Jeff?
So Tony Khan can't cry about it because they didn't show his stupid ass trademark on the show. Number one. Number two, I want what JJ said to happen so bad about the Michael J. Fox promo, just so we can get Max's reaction. I want that to happen so bad. Good call, Jay.
But you all bringing this up, truly, I think for AEW and WWE, the best thing they can do is not mention one another and just do their thing.
Well, yeah.
That would be the best thing, but Tony Khan doesn't want to do that.
No.
He figures he gets ratings by mentioning WWE, and he doesn't. He drives his fans away because his fans left watching WWE to come to watch AEW because they're all the
Hey, is it true?
They're the alternative.
Did Malachi Black say CM Punk's name on?
He did on Collision. He said Punk's name on Collision the same night that he debuted.
Interesting.
That's tremendous.
Earlier, we were talking about maybe CM Punk and Paul Heyman just butting heads backstage and running into each other. Maybe CM Punk runs into The Miz and he says, "Now I'm finally here, reunited with the best version of you," as a little reference to that MJF line from a couple years ago.
Well, how about? I was just going to say, on Collision, did Tony Schiavone say something along the lines of, "We're being told that Punk will be in Chicago. That'll put butts in seats."
No.
Well, no, because Schiavone wasn't aware of it because there wasn't a pay-per-view, smartass.
But it would still be funny. It's funny.
It'd be funny if he actually had a clue and knew about it. But none of us knew that was going to happen, man. The reaction was pure and genuine. That was the best part about it.
That's
I don't think Tony Schiavone is going to
comments so good.
Exactly.
Nirvana Fans 09 sent it a $2 super chat. Says Punk's first promo is, "Where are my ice cream bars?"
That would be funny. I mean,
Yeah.
He should have WWE go to the warehouse and get one of the boxes of the ones they put out after they started marketing those again, and just walk out with it. Just hand a few out to ringside, just go in the ring and start his promo. Just don't say a friggin' word.
Yeah. Or they could do that backstage segment. He drops
There you go.
the bag, the red bag in the trash, and then somebody hands him an ice cream bar, and they could knock all these little funny things, just get it out of the way in like one quick
That's it.
segment, just for fun.
Check them off one by one. That'd be great.
I do really wonder if CM Punk's going to reference Triple H and Stephanie and like, you know what? They were not stupid. They were not idiotic. I wonder if he's going to bring that up in a promo.
Probably won't bring up Stephanie.
She was at the show.
Oh, really?
Was she really?
Just a way to show that he's made peace with both of them.
She was at front row when Bailey was at ringside. She knocked the hat off of a fan, and Stephanie was just laughing.
Wasn't Stephanie the first in the McMahon family on social media to advocate for Punk coming back? He said she would love if Punk come back because they're always about making, news with WWE.
Yeah, I mean,
Jay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I talked all again, brother. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Okay,
I was gonna bring up something I mentioned last night on open mic night. And what do you think the possibilities are of them trying to potentially, and we know in the past invasions haven't worked, but possibility of planting seeds of an AEW faction with Punk, Cody, Pillman Jr., the debuting Jade Cargill.
never.
You
say
could
never.
even go as far as to trademark and call it Wrestling's Elite, just to really mess with
Oh
them.
my!
if Vince
You know
Russo
what?
was
It's
running
better
the
than
show,
having the
he
match
would
with Punk
consider
and
it.
Kane. Okay, get over it.
Oh, hey, by the way,
You're right about that, JJ.
Russo was a big fan of Punk going back to WWE. Obviously, Aaron, did you see that on?
I mean, who
social media?
wouldn't? Yeah, I did see it, but who wouldn't?
Well, Cornette, I can't wait to listen to it. Cornette loves Punk.
Well, did you see what Matt Riddle tweeted or posted?
yeah, I saw that.
He's becoming Ryback 2.0.
Yeah, well, like the thing is with Riddle, he obviously got released, right? He was a better UFC fighter than Punk, so he's just trying to keep his name out there.
I mean, it worked. It got him a few headlines, so good for him. We got some more super chats here. JJ, I'll throw this over to you. Who is your pick for Roman Reigns' Rumble opponent? Should he be in the Rumble, or should he defend the title? What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking Randy Orton.
I agree.
I
Same.
think we hold off on physical interaction between Seth and Punk until the Rumble. Have them interact, somehow, some way at the Rumble. Because I still don't think Seth is going to make it to Mania as champion.
Well, I mean, I think the LA Knight rematch has to be coming. I think because at that house show, after the show was, after it concluded, he was cutting a promo on the Bloodline, and he said he's not done with them. So maybe that'll be the big match at the end of the year on the last SmackDown or something. I mean, LA Knight is not winning, but I think they have to do the rematch at some point.
Now, TJS, do you think that Randy Orton should cross paths with Roman Reigns at some point before WrestleMania?
Yeah, I agree with JJ. I think that should be the Rumble match. I mean, that's huge to have Randy back, and against Roman. I can't think of a bigger match that you could have him in.
Yeah, I mean that I think that would be a great idea for like Elimination Chamber. And I'm still confident Rollins is holding that title till WrestleMania, and it's going to be Punk versus Seth Rollins. That's what I said a couple months ago when we first started talking about CM Punk possibly going back to WWE. I said CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, night one main event for the world title. CM Punk gets his main event. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, night two. Cody finishes.
And guess what, Aaron? Punk can win the Royal Rumble now. Doesn't have to be Cody a second year in a row. Cody can still get his match with Roman.
Yeah. True.
So Aaron, what would you do with Rollins at the Rumble if you save Punk for Mania?
Well, you could do a rematch with Drew McIntyre. Like there's still a possibility to keep that feud going. Like they had the one match, but you can turn it up now that McIntyre's a heel, and you could do a stipulation like a no holds barred match. So they could drag that out one more premium live event.
I feel bad. We haven't talked much about Randy at all.
That was what happened on open mic night last night.
Well,
what do you do as far as the Money in the Bank briefcase though? If you keep Seth with the title until April, Priest only has until July.
Well, he
Maybe.
could do it at WrestleMania,
Well,
cash in.
Sorry. Would you guys be against Priest cashing in like before the end of the year and then holding the title until Rumble and then Rollins beating him at Rumble? What do you guys think? Too short?
I think,
short.
yeah, I think I could see CM Punk like beating Rollins for the title and being all right with losing it right away to Priest.
I have a feeling
Putting
it's gonna
somebody
be a failed
over that's
cash-in.
not established.
You think he's gonna fail?
I have a feeling it's going to be a failed cash in, and it's going to be something going wrong with Judgment Day, Balor, whether it's intentional or not, to set up their split. I feel like Judgment Day is going to not potentially split completely, but I feel like Damian Priest is going to be out of the group at some point. I just have that feeling.
The failed cash in could be the last straw for him.
Well, I mean, Austin Theory is I guess
I don't know. I just see Priest as a world champion, man. I don't think he should fail the cash in.
Well, okay. So sorry, Eric. What I meant was the Judgment Day costing him the match would be the final straw for him out of the group. After they cost him the match, he's done with the group. If that's what happens. But I agree with you.
Something where there's some kind of falling out, and I mean, he could win it, but yeah, it's hard to say when. WrestleMania would be the time, though. I mean, that's when Seth Rollins did it. Seth Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania. Jeff?
I think if the failed cash in leads to a money match between him and Balor or something at Mania, and then he does get it down the line, I'm okay with it.
Now this, you guys might really not like this comment. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, what if Cody Rhodes wins Money in the Bank from Damian Priest?
Again, the only way that works for me is if it leads to a money match for Damian Priest. That guy is so talented. He's got such a future. Even I don't know how old he is, but he's got so much potential. If they do something with it, it's not just a means to an end for Cody to finish his story, I'm good. But it has to be a good story, not just okay, well, we need to get Cody to Roman, so let's just do it this way. Because that's bullshit. And Dog agrees.
Yeah, shout out to Chris in the chat. Wanted to hear my thoughts. So in terms of the three, Randy Orton, I'd like to see them do him versus Roman Reigns because they wrestled, I think, one time SummerSlam 2014, right at the start of Roman's push. And I think in the time since then, both Randy and Roman have come so far in terms of their character work. In ring wise, I always liked Randy. Roman now, so I think that would be tremendous. Damian Priest, I wonder if they're going to hold out beyond WrestleMania just to maybe have him cash in 11 months, just so they can say this is the longest person who's ever cashed in. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think, though, when Judgment Day splits up, everybody will be good. I think Damian Priest will be good by himself. Finn has always been good. Hopefully, eventually he gets pushed. I do think keeping Rhea and Dom together is probably the best thing you can do if you want to keep Rhea heel, because I was there at Survivor Series and Rhea's reaction, it's like, yay, we like Zoe, but everybody was going crazy for mommy. So I think Dominic is that one thing that will keep the heel heat coming, but as soon as her and Dom are split up, then Rhea's gonna become instant babyface. And then to finish up too with LA Knight, I personally feel that if you're gonna have LA Knight go after the title Roman has, I think you should wait until Roman finally loses that title, because I don't want to see LA Knight lose again. You keep telling that story where, okay, you're gonna keep losing, or have him go after the title on Raw. So I think hold LA Knight off until the championship is off Roman.
Well, sorry, like I said, he was cutting the promo on the Bloodline at the house show. I mean, that could just be like a filler thing, I think that, yeah. So,
all right, we got some more super chats here. Thank you for that, Building Nexus, about Roman's opponent. Now, Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. CM Punk with Pepsi can as WWE commentator. Book it. That's a throwback to when he was still part of Nexus, when he was out there. He had his diet soda out there.
I'm telling you, have him do the WWE superstar thing in the ring when he can, but he's proven he can be an effective analyst on both MMA and WWE broadcasts. Let him do that for UFC.
Sure, why not?
Money's on the table otherwise.
Maybe that is part of the deal here that he'll.
I would.
I mean, I know we talked kind of about him having like a Lesnar role, part-timing, but I could see him wrestling like weekly, not every single week, but probably like every 2 or 3 weeks. I could see him wrestling on TV, similar to how he was in AEW. 6-man tag every once in a while, things like that. No, Jeff, you don't?
No, I think Punk should be saved for premium events. As far as actually wrestling in the ring, have him cut the promos to lead up to the match. That's fine, but have him do the pay-per-view stuff for or premium live event, what the hell ever, for WWE, and have him do like I don't even know who's doing commentary. I mentioned I don't even know who's doing commentary on UFC anymore since Mike Goldberg. If I know Rogan's still there, but like, God, have Punk in there, have Punk in the mix with both sides of the company. You've got a completely new presentation. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Mo Camera thought that maybe CM Punk could lay out Seth Rollins and Priest cashes in the Money in the Bank contract successfully.
Tune into Raw tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean that anything can happen.
Yeah.
Here's a very bold prediction from me. Benjamin Griffin sent in $2. CM Punk's first words, and Judgment Day's music hits. It's either going to be that or Randy Orton comes out there. One of those two guys. I'm calling it now. One of those two guys will come out there, and you're going to hear the Judgment Day music interrupt. Just a matter
Fair
of
enough.
Randy versus Dominic seems like a good first match for Orton back.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be Randy Orton feuding with Judgment Day now, just to so-called freshen things up, since they've done all the Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes matches with those guys.
It sucks that Riddle's gone because we're not going to get a conclusion to the RK Bro story. That's kind of sad.
Yeah,
Well, here's how you remedy that, TJS. Have Aaron, what you just said, have Randy go through the Judgment Day. Lead up to the blow-off is against either Priest or Balor, whichever one. JD's the sacrificial lamb. He's first. Because it's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately, for JD. But then after that program's done, you turn Randy against Jey Uso. Because we got a little bit glimmer of that during the War Games match. But then when he drops Jey, he goes, I told you it's Survivor Series, but I still didn't forget. And that's someone mentioned earlier about who's going to wrestle Jey Uso at WrestleMania or Randy Orton. If Jey doesn't wrestle Jimmy, which I still think should happen, it's just perfect for brotherly love, storyline. But there's the ready-made thing. The bloodline is who took out both Riddle and Orton. So if you're going to finish the Riddle storyline, that's how Orton does it, by being the heat, by being the heavy against Jey Uso, who's over like Rover, like Son said.
The Rock's jockstrap. Oh, go ahead.
I had a quick question too, because I was going to ask. I asked the NoDQ chat this as well. How long do you all think until Bayley gets betrayed by Damage Control? I see they're probably going to play this story out all the way to the Royal Rumble, because Triple H likes to take his time with these.
Yeah.
I think it's happening soon. I don't know if you guys saw the little Ruffles ad that she did after the show, but it seems like Damage Control abandoned her at the show because she said she can't find her teammates anywhere, and she was all sad and depressed. So soon, I think. I
mean, could happen as soon as Friday, but would not shock me if they tried to hold it off. Keep in mind, we got 8 weeks until the Royal Rumble. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I think babyface Bayley beats Io for the title at WrestleMania.
Oh, there's a
I'm okay with that.
I've been thinking that lately because I'm like, you don't necessarily have to have Charlotte and Bianca Belair be for the title. That's a big
Thank
attraction
you.
of a match in itself. And you can do Rhea versus Becky. And then I'm like, this might be the chance to finally have Bayley win the Royal Rumble, become a baby face, do that redemption storyline, and beat Io Sky. Hey, maybe I don't know if I doubt they're gonna main event with that, but hey, at least because all the 4 horsewomen have main evented but her so far. But yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I make my jokes about Bayley, but she is underappreciated like crazy.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
definitely. I'd love to see her get a big run as a babyface. Now, The Rock's Jockstrap sent in a $2 super chat, says he's down for Punk versus Seth Rollins, but also where is The Rock? I mean, Virtue, The
Hollywood.
Rock is in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Strike's over.
Yeah. He's doing what he does, and that's making a lot of money, making a lot of deals.
Yep.
Making moves, baby. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong guy. Go ahead.
I mean, Punk's back, so Rock go back to Hollywood. I don't need him as much.
I really don't think he's. I think Rock WrestleMania is not happening.
Yeah.
That I'm fairly confident of that he's not coming back for that.
I'm never saying never again after yesterday.
Never say never.
That's true. Yeah.
But they got a loaded roster right now of stars.
You know what though?
How many never say never moments have we had in the 2020 so far? Wow.
I mean, even with a 14-match WrestleMania card, like there's only so much room.
Well, when was?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead, Tito. You're good.
Real quick, I was just gonna say, when was the last time WWE was this hot?
Attitude
It's been a minute. Yeah. I was telling JJ this morning when we were talking about tomorrow's dad's episode, Stephanie McMahon left the company this year. WWE is no longer being run primarily by the McMahons. CM Punk returned, left AEW, and then is back in WWE again. This year is just weird. Like, this is one of the craziest years in my fandom, definitely in the time working with Aaron. It's been a bonkers 2023.
Well, we said that last year too, with
I know.
leaving AEW and going back to WWE, and then Vince McMahon initially stepping away, retiring or whatnot.
Yep.
And Triple
Adam
H
Copeland voluntarily left WWE this year. It's bananas.
So many people thought when Vince came back at the beginning of this year, people was like, oh, here we go. But as we end out 2023 in WWE, I think it's been a heck of a year. And Survivor Series capped off to what I always used to say about NXT. Some are good, some are great, but never bad. I don't think we've had a bad PLE this year.
Well, what's funny about Vince, once the merger got announced, his title was stated as executive chairman. And being where I was employed for the last year, I should have they were clued in. When Bob Iger was no longer CEO of Disney but made executive chairman, his role was literally to oversee the transition from Bob Chapek going from the president of the parks to CEO of the company, and obviously that transition went really well. Dipshit, but Vince's role has just pretty much been, overseeing the transition. Now that it's finalized, you notice that was what, September they announced the merger was finalized, or October, whatever it was. All we heard in the reports is his role has been lessened in the company since. So I think we all got all the hair on our necks up for no reason when he came back.
Well, the fact that Vince did come back, be part of the reason the company sold.
Right.
We're seeing anything possible more than ever.
Yeah,
and I will say this, Vince, even in this decade with the pandemic, Vince also improved a lot creatively on some things, such as Roman turning him heel and taking more chances. So I think overall, even Triple H and Vince McMahon, we've certainly seen improvements, just because I think the start of this decade, it forced WWE to have to get more creative, whether it was Triple H or Vince McMahon. And that's a positive that came out of this.
All right, Aaron, let's rifle through these super chats. How many you got? We got a few more left here. Walter sent in a $5 super chat. Says CM Punk walks into the locker room and R-Truth is casually eating a WWE ice cream bar. Punk smiles and walks off. That's what they should do. I mean, yeah, very subtle. Just a little reference.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be anything lengthy or too noteworthy. Just do that as a little nod to everybody. That
good one, Walter.
Yeah. Thank
I
you
like
for
that.
Retro Pixel Drew 64. I guess everybody could just answer this yes or no, or maybe elaborate if you want to. AJ Lee or Mercedes Moné, who would you want to see back more? And I presume it's Mercedes Moné and not Mercedes Martinez. So, Virtue, who would you rather see come back?
AJ Lee. I mean, but like it, she doesn't have to wrestle, but
I agree. Just because she's been gone for so long, it would be interesting to see her back, and she was one of the pioneers. To see her get in the mix with the current roster, like Sasha Mercedes was just there a year and a half ago, so she mixed it up with all the current stars. But AJ Lee would be really fresh. It would be really interesting. So because of that, I would lean towards AJ Lee. But I'd like to see both of them back at some point. Jeff.
We had a great talk about this last night during the show. I forget which one of us pitched it, but Jay helped me out. We're talking about her more coming back and like being like the female GM, right?
You just had to say a name, Jeff.
I said he could AJ Lee is my pick, but I think that there's a really good reason behind that pick. So,
I'd like to see her as a GM. I think maybe is there an authority figure in NXT right now?
Sean, technically.
Okay, yeah. But I think bringing her in as the GM of NXT could bring in some eyeballs.
I would rather see, if she's going to come back, I would like to see her wrestle. What do you think, JJ?
Sorry.
I agree as far as AJ goes. If she can wrestle, great. If she can't, an on-camera talent like a GM would be cool. Someone to run the women's division. I just feel Mercedes has too bad of an attitude.
And she's mid.
Any thoughts?
Let's see. I'm going to split it up like this because both are awesome. Story-wise, AJ Lee, but match-wise, Mercedes, because she never fails to deliver in a match. But I think AJ Lee definitely would freshen things a lot more up for sure.
Well said. I agree with that. We got one more here from Charles Coleman. Sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, since anything can happen in WWE, John Cena heel turn. We already got the heel turn. Remember it, Jeff? He did that heel turn on that episode of Raw that one time.
Oh, yeah.
That was the heel turn.
Oh, that's right. He did the whole thing where you go, watch out. He actually turned his heel in the ring. That was being silly.
That was your heel turn.
Yeah, a legitimate in storyline. It's not going to happen at this point. It's just not.
Again, we could say never, but there's no good rational reason to do it at this point.
So are we caught up on super chats?
Yeah, we're caught up.
TJS, does CM Punk have a new WWE shirt up on the shop?
He does.
Okay,
he does.
Let's go around the room. JJ, I'm going to start with you. CM Punk last night, blue jeans and a blank white T-shirt. Any significance to that, in your opinion, or just like even if it didn't? I have something to say about that. Go ahead.
Clean slate.
Beautiful. I love that answer. Okay, I don't have to go now. Exactly what I was going to say. Because he's normally one that likes something, whether it's his own logo or, like something bold politically. And he had a plain white T-shirt on. Son, any thoughts on that?
Well, if there was only just a small portion of people who knew he was coming back, then it would make sense. You don't want to tell the merchandise department to start prepping stuff. So it makes sense. But then they cranked it out really quick today.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Based on what happened in AEW, though, I love that whole idea, clean slate like that. CJS, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, this is a fresh start, and Triple H said it best. In a decade, people are not the same person they were, 10 years ago. So yeah, I think you're right, Virtue. Clean slate. He could have easily come out with the merch, but he didn't because on his first night in AEW, he did have the merch, but he did not.
That's true. He did. You're right.
Jeff?
Yeah. I think it was. I think it was similar to Brian's thing. Clean slate. New company or returning company. Just fresh start. I like the subtlety of it.
Brian first showed up.
What happened?
Gimmick infringement from when Brian first showed up and was wearing the white shirt.
Well, I think that was done by design based on their friendship. I think it was it's okay. Well, Brian came over here with a clean slate, and Brian's been on the shelf
Yeah, I
when
mean,
he's been in the
I
ring.
don't
But
really think it was gimmick infringement. I'm just
no, of course not. But just definitely a similar type message.
And
I'm ready for Jericho to come back to WWE now.
It might be a while.
Yeah.
all right, Aaron. Anything else? We can go around and do our plugs.
Yeah, I mean, anybody else have anything they would like to add about Survivor Series? Any other thoughts on the show? Son, was there anything else that happened of significance from a live perspective?
Good show overall. War Games was awesome, and even though a lot of people were talking about how filler and predictable the middle of the show was, it still delivered on great matches. So it was solid 3 hours of a great show. So yeah. But
Yeah, I mean,
I'll say more about it later in my own review. But yeah, really good show overall, though.
All right. JJ, any final thoughts on Survivor Series?
No, it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Just a good show?
I mean, it was
Sounds like you had some issues with it if it was just good and not great.
No. It was a good show. I mean, I wouldn't call it great, but it was
Why wasn't
a
it
solid
great?
show.
Why didn't you think it was a great show?
No Roman
Honestly?
Reigns. Good answer.
All right, there you go. There's a good answer.
Honestly,
no world
the
title
only
defense
thing-
on a big four pay-per-view.
We were really light on the Roman talk tonight, but I mean, he's not around. We'll probably have to wait till January. But
And we didn't need him this week to bump up the numbers.
Okay.
But usually we throw in Roman Reigns'
Hey,
name.
you asked him why it wasn't great. He went to answer, and you talked over him. Let him talk.
It's all good.
Well, I was
Sorry.
just trying to be like you, Jeff.
JJ,
talk over
what-
him every 2 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
now look what you did. You picked him off.
I was going to praise his call on the show last night, and it didn't even get a chance to because the Survivor Series was a great show. He and No did a great job calling it, but Okay. Well, anyway.
go around and do our plugs now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, son. Go ahead. We'll start with you.
All right. I don't know if I was buffering there for a moment.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been a while. I am forever super busy, but whenever I get a chance like this where I'm off around this time from work and stuff, it is great to always be here with you guys and talking pro wrestling, NoDQ Galaxy. So yeah, got a lot of stuff going on my YouTube channel where I rank the 39 WrestleMania 39, all 15 matches that took place. So they're very highly produced, a lot of effort going into editing them. So yeah, it's right there on my YouTube at youtube.com/SunGoShuaku. And I'll be having a Survivor Series review, as I mentioned, coming out, and possibly a ranking series for Survivor Series matches, as well as a SummerSlam ranking series. So definitely a lot of WWE content coming there. And you can also follow my other stuff, such as my voice acting and filmmaking. So all right there. I will leave a comment and basically in the description comments below, and just you can click there if you want to check it out. And you can follow me on social media. Everything's the same thing. Handle Sun Goshoku as you see it. And Aaron, thank you so much for also plugging this on your site. So there was a lot of people who came over to watch that. That was really awesome. And everyone, just always enjoy life as much as we can and enjoy pro wrestling. It's a fun time. I think things are looking great going into 2024. So always remember to support NoDQ.com. As Aaron, you say, it's now, as the LA Knight says,
Right.
to NoDQ. All right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Everybody just amazing. Awesome. Love it.
Thank you,
Appreciate
son. All right.
you.
TJS.
Well, instead of plugging my stuff, I want to plug Jack Perry's because I think he was the catalyst that sent Punk to WWE. He did his little shot, and then Punk choked his ass out backstage, and then that caused Punk to show up at Survivor Series. So he must feel like the biggest loser ever. So I'd just like to give him some pity follows, guys. So go follow Jack Perry.
He might be the devil.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Randy Orton, I think, is like jacked now, like shredded more than he's ever been. So I'm looking forward to his run too. I know this was basically the CM Punk show, but honestly, I can't remember the last time I was this excited for Raw. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
No problem. Okay, Jeff.
Gonna be a fun night, Aaron. I sent the plug in the group chat. If it didn't go through, just I guess don't worry about it for the week. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. There's some of the channels we do. We're also on the Greg Cherry brand here on NoDQ.com and at Rangers of Wrestling. We've got content every single day this week. JJ and I will be hosting our dad's top 10 all-time baby faces episode tomorrow morning, 11 p.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. JD will be live every day this week except Friday with his recaps of the television shows. So check us out across the multiverse of media. We'll be back next Saturday for Open Mic Night, and I will see what happens going forward. But it's going to be a busy end of the year for sure. I love it.
There you have it.
Thank you for being on, Jeff. I appreciate it. And just stay tuned to NoDQ.com. It's been a crazy weekend, and looking forward to this week. Should be a busy one. I'll be back after Raw. And then we got a lot more to come as we wrap up the year.
One more thing. Here's to Aaron and Caitlin and I all getting well in the next week. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, really.
By the way, shout out to JJ for being on. I'm not sure if he's coming back.
Yes.
Shout out for being on, too.
Might have pulled a Robbie on us, but we'll see what happens.
No.
Okay, good.
Don't worry. It'll be okay.
He didn't call anyone a name. So
Exactly.
Yeah. Aaron, anything else?
That's it. Virtue, you can go ahead and wrap us up. It's been a fun one, everybody. Pretty long show here, just talking about CM Punk for the most part, and hopefully we'll have.
It was an informal show, but it was going to be that way. With not the normal set of topics I go around and moderate normally. So because of CM Punk, that's what he does. Do I got a graphic, Aaron, or no?
One of the best that we.
Yeah, you did want a graphic now. Do I even have it up? Okay, let me.
I said the new one that you can use if you wanted to, Virtue.
You got the old one or the new one?
Here we go.
There you go.
There it is.
X.com. There you go. At NoDQ_Virtue. NoDQ.com/merch. You go check out all the great merch and check out NoDQ.com in general. For Aaron Rift, for Jeff Meacham, for Son, for TGS, and for JJ, and the whole NoDQ Galaxy and crew. This has been the NoDQ Review 261. We will see you again next time. Good night, everybody.